Welcome to AMHQ. I'm Kate Parker.
And I'm Anaridis Rodriguez. It's Tuesday, November 10th. And in the South, we are excited to hear that the sun is returning.
Please.
But that's not the case for the Northeast.
Yeah, unfortunately, close to ½ inch of rain possible here today. This is the setup. This is the same low that tracked its way across the entire country. Remember this, across the South, and it really brought all that rain that just hasn't moved. Well, the reason it hasn't moved is that this low then took a turn to the north and has been hanging out along the coast. And so we haven't seen that clearing front that we desperately needed in the Southeast to see a little sunshine. This is what it's resulting in the Northeast today. West Virginia, you've got some thunder boomers out there. It's a couple little rumbles of thunder, but otherwise it's a wide smattering of rain that stretches across Pennsylvania. But look at this, the Delmarva Peninsula just getting soaked this morning. If you're in Delaware, the entire state just covered in rain. Rain from top to bottom, from Rehoboth Beach all the way up into Philadelphia. Actually, now you're starting to see those showers. New York, you haven't quite gotten into the mix just yet, but you will. Now, Boston, you are in the clouds as well. So the radar looking pretty wet this morning. And look, you can see that low. See our wind streams here? Showing you how it just scoots up the coast. Rain goes along with it. So DC, you clear overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. But a little bit this rainfall, it looks a little suspicious, right? It's like a little enhanced, right? We've got a little extra action going on. Well, we are going to see some possibly enhanced moisture from Tropical Storm Kait. We'll talk about those connections in a little bit. Let's talk about through Wednesday, 1 to 2 inches total. This is, again, through tomorrow across Pennsylvania, up to an inch through Concord and Boston, New York. So you're not going to see these, tremendous flooding potentials, but you definitely are going to see a soaker. It's one of those days where the kids need the galoshes because otherwise they're going to come home with the bottom of their pants just soaked, right, as they walk home from the bus stop. Washington, D.C., through dinner time tonight, you do have those showers in the mix. Temperatures never really get above around 60 degrees, which isn't unbearably chilly, but it's just kind of miserable, right? Overnight tonight, you start to finally clear out, which is some great news. Hey, let's take a or in the South, you want to wear the boots, you want to wear the fall gear. You are going to get to that, but we have to get through this first. Our severe threat. This is one of our top stories for tomorrow. It's going to start tomorrow morning. And it's going to be a little bit more to the west. It's along this front that's going to plow across the Midwest. And the start of thunderstorms goes farther south. But this is where the severe stuff could be, right along I-70, Kansas City, University of Missouri, over to St. Louis, Davenport through Springfield. The main components here are going to be high wind threat. You could see some damaging winds. We could see some hail. But the tornado threat is something we really need to talk about. We have a Torcon of 4 already for southern Iowa into Illinois. We've got a Torcon of 4. This includes all the way from St. Louis stretching up to Quincy, going on into Mattoon, and then you'll notice a Torcon of 3 across central Missouri, and even stretching into a little farther south into portions of Arkansas there too. Look at the water vapor here. You can really see how our next low, you see this here? This is going to be our snowmaker out here. But here's where that front is starting to plow through. See how it's drying out in the plains? What's going to happen is that with this nice little dip in the jet stream, this is going to help us pull some of that moisture in from the Gulf of Mexico. And on the surface, right, because the jet is going to be a lot higher in the atmosphere, so closer to the surface is where we develop this low. And that's where we see, again, that moist flow. And along that front is where we trigger those thunderstorms. And that's where we're concerned. Down into Texas, we could see a couple as well. So Anaridis, it's a couple of these. It doesn't look like it's going to be as severe in Texas, more of a Midwest threat.
Yeah, and a lot of people are asking about it, so you definitely want to stay tuned with the Weather Channel and get your Weather Channel app ready and be weather ready and understand what your possible risk in your neighborhood are. But let's talk about today's top headlines. We start with flooding in Joaquin, and we're going to go with Kait. She's going to have more on Tropical Storm Kait, which has intensified since we talked about it, since you guys talked about it yesterday morning. Yeah, you see these the satellite images, and they don't always look great, but the visible imagery, even over this weekend, you could tell that there was just something about this, that this would become our next storm. Look at this, 60-mile-an-hour winds right now. Got a nice little, see what we've got here, this red? We've got a nice little emergence of a central dense overcast, or these thunderstorms near the middle that are producing a lot of latent heat and helping
expecting it to strengthen just a little bit. North of the Bahamas now, and as you can see, making that turn out away from the U.S., moving pretty quickly, getting on out of here. So we love it. It's out of here. We could see a little moisture, though, drawn up into the northeast. We'll be watching 9 degrees today. So this is the Midwest and what we're talking about with this forecast. So see these two systems here? This is what the system that's actually helping to bring some snow into Denver, which doesn't always get snow. You need those winds to bring it on in there on the east side of the Rockies. This is what's happening in the upper Midwest, though. These temperatures are soaring out ahead of this system. Look at this. You're 20 degrees above average nearly in Fargo through the middle part of this week, 18 degrees above average, 12 degrees above average in Des Moines. Just an incredible warmth there. There's those showers that are hanging out around the lakes. That continues to push off to the northeast as that low exits. So eventually you see some sunshine. It's not until later this afternoon, though. Traverse City, you're going to get up into the 50s today. Des Moines, 59 degrees. And around 4 o'clock in Kansas City, 64 degrees. Not bad for November, right? Okay, let's take a look at Detroit. Again, just rain in the forecast today. So as you head off to work, as you're getting the kids off to school, it is going to be a wet one. And you'll notice that later tonight when you get home from school, should be at least a little drier.
And that's what's new this morning. Kate, let's come back stateside and talk about the snow in Nevada. As of last night, I'm reading reports, 5,000 people without power because of the snowfall, and it's sticking to the valley floors.
It is, right? We had all that mountain snow last week. Now that cold air has come in, and so we're starting to see a true blue winter storm. Look at this. We've got a blizzard watch in effect even for the plains of Colorado. Looking ahead to Wednesday, but we've got the weekend coming up. It's nice and close. It's just, we can almost taste it, right? We've got Torcons of 4 up, so pay attention to the weather tomorrow. Let's go ahead and move on to what's going on as we head into Thursday. You'll notice that we do have a couple of showers around the Great Lakes. In the northeast, once again, you've got some showers in the forecast, so you're not getting much of a break this week. You'll notice on Friday, though, great looking forecast from almost the entire country, and that goes into your Saturday. Yeah, we do have a little bit of rain, a little bit of snow as those winds blow off of the lakes, but I tell you what, this is pretty much a winning forecast from 61 degrees in Denver to 59 in Chicago to 58 in Atlanta, and these glorious little sunshines. Great news, and you've got a high of 60, so we kind of fixed that, right?
Yeah.
Moved it on through.
Flip the switch.
Got it out of there.
Not the same happening in Philadelphia. Of course, we're your travel headquarters. We're looking at your road conditions and your air travel conditions at 20 and 40 past the hour. We begin in Philadelphia this morning and Detroit.
Yes.
All the places we're seeing that active rain, people just remember, you kind of forget how to drive in the rain.
Right? Those shoes are going to get soaked. This is the setup. This is the very same rain that has been plaguing the southeast for days. So it's all connected, folks, and it's all thanks to this pesky low. It moved offshore, it moved up the coast, and now that's going to be our driving force behind the rainfall today. All that moisture being pulled in off the Atlantic, even a hint of moisture possibly pulled off of Tropical Storm Kait once we get into the next few hours. So incredible there. Hey, how about this rainfall from Detroit to Cleveland? It's a soaker into Pittsburgh, and then we've got plenty of rain up the Delmarva this morning. And some pretty good downpours across Philadelphia, New Jersey as well. You're getting a soaking. Some of the heaviest rain actually moving around Philly suburbs right now. So if you live in and around there and you're trying to get into the city for work, it's going to be a wet one. I would say go early. Leave now or forever hold your peace. New York City, same story here because here comes the rain. It's already in Long Branch and it's going to be moving into the city and then Long Island shortly after that. Look at this. There's a low. Look at that great graphic. Don't you love it? It really shows you how that moisture is being pulled in and why it's going to travel north today. All this rain is going to make its way up into the northeast, into New England by the time we get later into the afternoon and evening. And even tomorrow morning, a soaker. So if you're already planning ahead for Wednesday, yeah, you got some soakers for you in Massachusetts, so be aware of that. Hey, how about your Veterans Day plans tomorrow in the plains? Let's take it. And it's a severe threat as well. Let's go ahead and break this down for you and talk about this severe risk from Des Moines south through Springfield. We're not just talking one Springfield, but 2 Springfields, Illinois and Missouri, Kansas City here in the mix. This is tomorrow morning, and then this is later on in the afternoon. Damaging winds, a possibility, hail, a possibility, and tornadoes, a possibility. We have Torcons out for tomorrow. a 4 for southern Iowa and northeast Missouri. Go a little farther to the south and over into Illinois, west central Illinois. This includes places like Quincy, Mattoon, into St. Louis. You've got a Torcon of 4 as well. And then you get a little more into central Missouri. You have a Torcon of 3. So you need to go ahead and adjust those Wednesday plans. If you have after school practice and you live a little bit farther to the east in that area, I would say go ahead and adjust those plans. Here's what's happening. You can really see the jet and what's happening with this just dip. See this? This big old dip, and then this is basically what we're highlighting here is the spin in the atmosphere. So this is saying, okay, you know what, there's quite a lot of this, and watch what happens. See how it exits into the plains, and that's one of our triggers for saying, okay, there's going to be a possibility of severe weather, and then you add in all the other ingredients, and that's where you really start to get the possibility of tornadoes. Look, there's not a lot of potential energy tomorrow, so it's really more the spin that's in the atmosphere. We've got strong mid-level winds adding into this, so the moisture coming out of the Gulf actually feeding this, Anaridis.
All right, Kate, let's get checked in on your top weather stories this morning.
It could easily be 50 miles an hour, and that's when you start getting blowing snow and blizzard conditions.
Yeah. Kate, you remember that cave-in in Mississippi that everyone thought was a sinkhole? Well, it turns out the giant hole that opened up in Meridian over the weekend wasn't a natural event at all. Engineers believe this was a man-made disaster. NBC's Carrie Sanders is in Meridian.
On the weekend edition, we had that update for you. Okay, let's talk about this, your forecast across the country. This is the winter storm that we're concerned about. We've got some winter weather, but Wednesday we're honing in on this, and it's a morning and afternoon threat where we could see some possibly severe weather across the Midwest. Thursday, that rain moves into New England, but look at your weekend ahead. Okay, Friday, things clear out. Saturday, how spectacular is this? Sunday, yeah, a little wet on the West Coast, but otherwise, and boy, do we need it. Let's talk about this. How much rain? 6.85 inches of rain in the first 9 days. That's just the last 9 days in November so far. So that equals 16 billion gallons, enough to fill 2,500 Georgia Aquarium tanks, which if you don't know about the Georgia Aquarium, those tanks have they have numerous whale sharks in them. That tank is huge. Yeah, they've got beluga whales, they've got dolphins. So to be able to fill 2,500, that's a lot of water. The high pressure, Anaridis just said it, Mr. High Pressure coming on in, and it's not going to be first thing this morning. I don't want you to wake up and say, Kate, I'm in Jackson and you promised me sunshine. Give it a little time today. We've got to get that working in, and this is a hopeful forecast. We just haven't seen it happen quite yet. Here it comes. By this afternoon, we really think that you're going to see some sun, badly needed. We've got to get that soil evaporating a little bit of that water, right? Because it's basically sludge at this point. Atlanta, your high today, 64 degrees. This is like a winning forecast. You're welcome. We need this. Yeah, great looking stuff there. And in Charlotte, 67 degrees by the time the kids are heading home from school. Yeah, this morning you're starting out with a little rain, but things do improve for you. So you have to give it a little time, right? Memphis, 68 degrees by later on this afternoon. Now you're starting out mostly clear, so you're kind of winning this morning and winning this afternoon. And it's a great evening to grill, I think. I think it's a great night to get outside. Great.
Yeah, in the high 60s.
Enjoy it.
Love it. Let's head into orbit and actually look at the sun. This is a solar flare that occurs in the Earth's atmosphere. Of course, all of this can't be seen with the naked eye, but we couldn't even see the sun in the southeast, so there you go.
Yeah, so no problems there. You know how long you would last on the surface of the sun?
A millisecond?
4 microseconds, which is way less than you can, like less than a blink by a lot. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about Tropical Storm Kait. I know the spelling is a little bit off here. We can forgive the World Meteorological Organization. They're who named these storms. Winds 60 miles an hour with this. Now we can be a little lighthearted with it because we're not expecting this to impact the U.S. in really any way. It's moving out to sea. Now it's moving pretty fast, you know, and it's moving off to the northeast, and it's thanks to this trough that's bringing some blissful sunshine to places that haven't seen it in nearly 2 weeks. But you are going to see them move on out. But look at the moisture. That's something that's interesting, is that we might see a little bit of this enhance some rainfall in the northeast as we go through the next several hours and into tomorrow morning. Look at this. See, it's just a little bit, just a touch of that moisture getting pulled up into that system. But watch as this goes out to sea. See, no problems here. There's that moisture. Yeah, but there it is, staying out to sea. Possibly it's forecast to become Hurricane Kait briefly. But again, Bermuda really the only place that's going to see any impacts from this. So if we're going to have a tropical update, that's some good news.